Hello and welcome to the program Inspire Children. It's always good to come your way, and thank you so much for tuning every week where we talk about children, issues that affect our children, their growth and their development. One of the most critical things that we need to reflect and talk about is to do with parenting. We become parents, but we are never taught how to parent. We parent according to what we've seen, how we've been parented. So sometimes it's like we are just passing on the baton stick of what we saw, what was done to us. Many times what has been done to us might not be a complete package. Today we want to talk about something very important, what we may call holistic parenting, what it is about, and how do we get to help our children, raise our children to become balanced children. And to do that in the studio today, we have a special guest, Dr. Graham Chichetu. You help us to tackle this topic. Welcome to the program, Doc.
Thank you, Memo, for having me.
It's good to have you, and I believe we're going to have a good conversation.
Sure.
And you know, on this show, people are looking forward to learn a lot, things that are practical, things that will help them to reshape, change one or two things in how they deal with children. And today you are helping us to talk about holistic parenting. So maybe as a way of introduction, maybe as we lay a foundation today, you might just highlight to us what is parenting and what are the things that we're seeing around us in today's world.
Well, Memo, I think from what you've just said when you began about how we are never really taught how to parent, but we have learned to parent from watching, how, and also from experience, how we ourselves have been parented. And I think that's where we begin to have one of the biggest challenges in parenting, especially when it comes to those that are having children that are in their teens or below. We need to appreciate that parenting should be generation specific. All right? It should be generation specific. What that means is the realities of every generation are peculiar to that generation. They are different from the previous generation. Exactly. And that demands that also the way that we approach parenting also responds to those realities. So just to say, I feel that's where the biggest gap has been created when it comes to modern day parenting. Now coming to what holistic parenting is, given our Zimbabwean context, you agree with me, the way that we parented, and unfortunately the way that many of our peers have been parenting, the emphasis has been on academics. The emphasis has been on grades. You know, we are so hard on the kids when it comes to performance at school, when it comes to their behavior, but that behavior is always around how they are managing their books. You know. Now, holistic parenting goes beyond that. Yes, holistic parenting appreciates that there is more to a child than just the intellectual, than just books. So holistic parenting seeks to nurture and to develop the whole person. So here we are looking at the child's physical side, we are looking at their emotional side, we are looking at their mental side, and also we are looking at their social side as well as the spiritual side. So with holistic parenting, we are saying we want to develop a total person, not just one who is academically astute, you know, they're doing well in school, but they seem to be struggling in all these other areas.
Right round. So, you know, before we get deep into these particular areas that we need to balance, maybe you would speak, there are different kinds of parenting that we've seen. What are some of them that we need our viewers to be aware of?
I usually use a continuum when I describe the different approaches to parenting. On one end or one extreme, we have authoritarian. You know, do as I say. And this is what many of our generation, this is how we're parented. You know, you don't question authority. You don't question that. Then at the other extreme is permissive parenting, where it's more like laissez-faire. You know, and it's said that we, in us wanting to correct the strong-handedness that we might have experienced from our own parents, we then totally
shift to the extreme.
to the other extreme. So I would say in terms of the different approaches that are prevalent right now, we have an authoritarian approach to parenting, and we have a very permissive approach to parenting. Both are very dangerous.
Extremes.
Both are very dangerous extremes. Middle ground is where we'd want to be, and I believe holistic parenting gives us that platform where we can function in the middle, where we don't lose the authority, but we also do not become dictators. You know, we also give our children the space to flourish, to grow, to explore, to fail even. So I believe that middle ground is what we are aiming for, but we have those two extremes, those two approaches to parenting.
You know, I like what you're saying, to say we can't go extremes, especially the permissive one, where, you know, the adults still have the responsibility of ensuring that they raise children well. So, Doc, you know, getting deep into what we're discussing today, let's start with the physical development. What does physical development of a child involve, and how can people facilitate that from all backgrounds? Remember, if you would try to cover all the backgrounds, you've got people who are low-income earners, middle, those who are high earners. How can they facilitate physical development of a child, and how important is it?
This is the beauty of it, Memo. This has nothing to do with how much you earn. When it comes to ensuring the physical development of our kids, it has nothing to do with how much you earn. It's unfortunate that, especially when you're now dealing with teens, they seem to be so much concerned about their physical appearance. So with the teens, it's more with the outward aesthetics, you know, how they are looking. But when we talk of physical development, we are beyond that. We are looking at true health. All right, we are looking at the issue of rest. And I tell you, that's a big issue right now. Our kids are not resting. They're not resting. Then we are looking at the issue of exercise. Our kids are not exercising, and it's not a brainer why they're not exercising. They're always on their screens. You know, our kids are not eating well. Yes, and when it comes to the food, we are also partly to blame as parents. You know, we are the ones that are exposing them to the junk. We are the ones that are exposing them to all the poisons, the toxins that they're taking in. And that's why I maintain that it really doesn't need a big fat pocket to ensure these things. You don't need a lot of money for you to develop proper rest times for your kids. You know, you don't need a lot of money for you to structure meal times for your kids. You don't need a lot of money for even to provide a good, healthy diet. Because if we are to be honest, the healthy stuff is actually the cheap stuff. Go to Mbari, you know. Go to Mbari. So physical development, it involves ensuring that the kid has enough rest.
Talk more about that, Doc.
All right.
How practical how can people put it into practice? What really mean that our children are not resting? And I want the viewer to be able to pick it, say, okay, these are the things that I really need to put in place if I'm to ensure that my children, they rest, they do this, they do that.
It's sad. I look back at how we grew up. We know we had so much playtime. We had so much playtime, unlike our kids today. So even during the holidays, they are going to school. You know, during the school term, they're having weekend classes. During the week when they're going to school, they're having lessons after school. So that's number one. We are overworking our kids, you know, as we pursue good grades. All right? Then number two, themselves, when they're done with school, they're on their gadgets. You know, and they're on their gadgets all the way midnight, early morning, they're on their gadgets. And this is possible because as parents, we have not been as intentional as we could be in trying to ensure that they do get the rest. So I would say, you know what, number one, let's as parents be intentional about creating time to rest. Rest from school. All right? Let's give them space to rest. Let's give their brains space to comprehend, to process what they've been learning the whole day, what they've been exposed to the whole day. And how do we do that? Let's create sleep schedules and enforce them. And the earlier we do it, do you know what, Memo? When it comes to parenting, we need to appreciate the different stages. So from 0 to around 2, 3, the kid is just a baby, they're still suckling. But from 3 to around 12, this is the stage where we instill respect for authority.
Exactly.
All right. So during this stage, we really need to be intentional about setting the boundaries, setting the rules. And how do we reinforce that? Give incentives, give punishments.
Exactly.
If they do well, incentivize. Recognize them, reward them for that. If they don't do well, punish them for that. This is how they learn authority.
Exactly.
Then when they get into their teenagehood, it's now responsibility. Now, it becomes difficult, Memo, when we want now to have them being responsible when they're not caught authority.
Yes.
And this is where the struggles begin now. Because as a parent, I now want to begin to set the rules. You know, everyone goes to bed at 9. Yes. I want your gadgets by the TV before you go to bed. So I'm now wanting them to be responsible, but it's late because they've not mastered authority.
So the foundation
is not there.
Hey, Doc, the things you're speaking, I think they're deep, and we'll come back to this soon after the break. Viewers, don't go away. There's a powerful conversation happening here. Welcome back, viewers, to the program Inspired Children. Today we're talking about holistic parenting, and I believe you're glued to the screen because what we are talking about can transform your home, can transform the future of your children. Doc, we want to go back to what we were talking about before the break, and you're talking about setting boundaries and, you know, highlighting that foundations have not been done well. Can you please go back to that and emphasize? I believe every home needs to hear this.
Yes, so it's unfair, if I may put it that way. It's unfair to expect something from a child which they've not been trained to be able to live out. The Word of God is very clear, if I can make reference to that. Train up a child in the way they should go, and when they grow up, they will not depart from it. So the training up aspect, I believe we have not been as intentional as we could be. You know, and it begins right from 3 years, even 2 years. As soon as you win the child, begin to intentionally train them. As soon as they can comprehend an instruction, if you can say to them, go and get my phone, and they go and they get it, it means they now can comprehend an instruction. Let's begin to train them up. Let's begin to train them up. Let's begin to teach them authority. Because at that stage, that is very critical. How they respond to authority, how they honor respect, and how they obey instructions. So if we do it right, early stages, and remember, this is the stage where every kid believes their parent is everything.
Superhero.
You know, I'm always joking with my little boy. So he would come to you and says, how does this work? And I have no idea. So I don't know. He says, but you are daddy. You're supposed to know this. Yes, you know. Wow. So we need to take advantage of that period. Yes. Because at this period they believe we know everything. We are there. Yes. So let's teach them authority then. Because if we lay the right foundation then, when it comes to teenage years now, when they are now more independent, or they're beginning to become independent, when they're beginning now to establish their own identities, and now it's the time for us to begin to talk about responsibility, you know, where they now need to begin to be accountable.
Exactly.
But accountability only works when there's an authority to be accountable to. Responsibility only works when there is someone to whom you are going to have to give a report to regarding that which you, you know. So if the authority side has not been dealt with, we then get to have challenges in the teen years. And I believe this is where we are having the biggest gaps when it comes to parenting, especially teenagers. Because we are now wanting them to be responsible. You know, and going back to what you asked about ensuring that they get enough time to rest, like I said, we need to set boundaries. All right. But how do you get someone to adhere to those boundaries when they have not mastered authority?
So you know, Doc, this is a very interesting area. So there are parents who might be watching right now, and they are saying, Doc, I think we missed it. We missed some stages. Now we don't know what to do. Where can they start from? We are still talking about physical development. We haven't gone far into setting the boundaries, getting the children to know authority, getting the children to know what This is how we do things in our home. This is how a respectable human being does. Where is there hope for them? Where can they start?
You start where you are.
Yeah.
And one thing that we need to appreciate is the power of modeling.
Oh, yes.
You know, especially if your kids are now in their teenage years, instruction will not cut it.
Yeah.
You need to go beyond instruction. You need to begin to walk the journey with them.
Yes.
You know, so you need to consider them more of partners now.
Yes.
You know, because it's too late to want to bring authority.
Yeah.
It's too late for that. So you might want to really bring them on as partners, and where you now train them up through modeling.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So when you talk about the importance of rest, you demonstrate it. You know, when you talk of the importance of balance, especially when it comes to how we manage our digital time, you demonstrate it.
Exactly.
You know, so that's how you begin to reclaim your, I would say, your place in the life of the child in as far as physical development is concerned. You begin to model it. You begin to demonstrate that what you want to see them doing. Yes. So when you say, you know what, nighttime is time to sleep, they should see you going to sleep. You know, when you say, you know what, exercise is important, invite them for a jog.
Let's go for
a jog. Yes. Make it a family exercise. You know,
exactly.
and that's very important when it comes to holistic development, Memo. We need to be available.
Yeah.
Yes. We need to be available.
You know, I liked what you said when you talked about the fact that we need, especially when our children become older, we need to partner with them. I believe this is one of the areas where people are messing it up, where you now find a parent is in a fight with their teenagers. They're trying to be authoritative. At the end of the day, tikuita vana vari kutiza kumba tikuita vana vakunotsvaga another place of refuge. Some they go in the streets, some they go to their friends, and you know the circle goes on until we have vana vedu vachipinda, some of them into alcohol, drugs, and other gangsters, you know, that are around. It's because of what we have talked about, you know, the aspect of being able to partner and say, Mwanangu, you know what, let's do this thing together, because that is one of the contributing factors to what is happening to our children. Thank you so much for highlighting that. Dear viewers, thank you so much. Join us after the break. Welcome back, viewers, to the program Inspire Children. And I'm your host, Memory. We are having those conversations that are transformational. Today, Dr. Graham is really, you know, breaking it down so that we really build up our children to become holistic individuals. So, Doc, let's talk more about, you talked about rest.
Yes.
You talked about exercise. Why are these things important? What are the advantages?
Memo, we need to appreciate that our kids, like I said, from age 3 all the way to their teenagehood years, they are still developing.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so their brains are also still developing.
Yeah.
And another reality of our current generation is that they've been exposed to an overwhelming amount of information. So during the day, there is so much information overload that is happening. All right. So rest gives the brain an opportunity to process that.
Yes.
It gives the brain opportunity to put aside what is not yet ready for the child and to take in what is necessary and important for the child in that particular stage. And also not wanting to go very biological, we need to ensure that there are connections that need to happen between the frontal cortex and the medulla of the brain, as the kid is developing. Now, too much digital time with lack of rest, it interrupts that connection.
Yes.
You know, and this then manifests in the child's life. They are irritable.
Yes.
They fail to make rational decisions. You see, so by neglecting the need for us to ensure that our kids rest, we are actually interrupting with their brain development.
Yes.
All right. So also, just even for us as adults, just try to go for 3-4 days without sleep.
Without sleep, eh?
I'm telling you, you'll become a menace out there. Now,
very true.
if this is how it affects you as an adult, you can imagine how it affects a 16-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 9-year-old. All right. So rest is very critical for their emotional well-being. It's very critical for their mental well-being. Many of the students, they don't struggle in school, not because they are bad students, but because they are just not rested enough for them to now concentrate.
Yeah, they're overwhelmed.
Yes, so resting for a child, it creates an opportunity for a reboot of the system as they prepare for the next day.
Yeah.
You know, so rest is very critical for their mental development, for their emotional development, which then ultimately affects their social interactions.
Yes.
You know, then when it comes to exercise, exercise is necessary for them to build and develop, especially when it comes to the cardiac system.
Yeah.
All right. So apart from the body looking nice and staying fit, what's important is your cardio.
Yes.
You know, and the fact that also we are not eating healthy places an even greater demand. That if we are not going to be eating healthy, then the least that we can do is
exercise.
You know, exercise. you know, because exercise, number one, it also as your cardio is working well, it means your circulatory system is working well.
Yes.
It means there is adequate provision of oxygen where it needs to go. And for a child, it's the brain that matters most. You know, so when the brain is well nourished, you know, from a circulatory system that is working well, when the brain is well nourished, it's getting enough oxygen, it's getting enough nutrients. This also then reflects even in the child's ability to learn and to grasp things, to, you know, to master things. So children that exercise, children that take time to intentionally mind how they're developing their cardiac systems through exercise, they tend to do much better, even when it comes to concentration, even when it comes to academic performance, unlike students that do not exercise and they are not eating well. You know, so for us, the question would be for some parents, I was at home exercise to Shikura, you know, but there was no need for us to be even, you know, to be sat down and engage around this. We were exercising every time, you know, Chitaba, Pada, Raka Raka, you know, Kweshema streets. You know, we had enough opportunity for exercise without realizing that we're actually exercising. And our kids right now, unfortunately, we have denied them of that privilege as well by the gadgets that we have given them, by our need for them to do very well.
So much to
their playtime, we've taken it away and replaced it with the books. You know, so
there's no playtime.
There's no playtime.
There's no working. The cardio is low.
It's low.
And, you know, these things of
the respiratory system is not being developed. The cardiac system is not being developed. Our brains ultimately are also not being developed fully.
And in the long term, we have got serious impact.
Serious impact. And for me, the biggest challenge is we then raise a generation that does not have the capacity to make rational decisions. You know, so you look at a child and you say, you know, because you're thinking this should be a very simple decision that you needed to make here, but there's so much irrationality that you get to see. It's because the brain is not developed as it should have.
So profound.
During that particular period.
Thank you so much, Dr. Graham, for coming through to the program. We are going to continue this conversation, and I believe our viewers are going to learn a lot. Thank you so much. We appreciate. Dear viewers, thank you for joining us. We look forward to another conversation. We are not yet done with Dr. Graham. There is so much, and guess what? We have the responsibility of ensuring that the next generation is safe. And you and I, the adults, it is our mandate. It is our task. Parenting is 24/7. Thank you for tuning in. Please do send your comments, do send your views, and I believe we'll have a good time on this program. See you next time. Goodbye.